Hi YouTube, this is Tatiana from Tatiana's Family Home Daycare. So I've had a family daycare for about a year, a little over a year now, and I wanted to discuss some forms and what needs to be in the child's file, and also some problems I've been having with parents and how I address those. So this is the form that was given to me by my analyst. There you go. So the paperwork that, first of all, you got to have the child's name, the date of birth, date enrolled, if they're full-time or part-time. In all the children's file, they need to have an form called LIC 700. That is the emergency information form, which is this one. Let me show this to you. Let me see if I can switch the camera over. Okay, well, I don't know how to do it. So it's this form right here. And this form just have, you know, child's name, address, the father's name, mother's name, guardian, the person who has responsibility for the child, and also additional person who may be called in case of an emergency. Now that's very, very important. So when you have the parent and the parent just put one person, you might need to have them put 2 or 3 people and explain to them what those what they need from the people, you know, because I had a parent, you know, put her friend down the street. Emergency happened. That parent had an emergency where she couldn't even contact me, but she contacted another friend who was not on this list. And that other friend, it was just a whole bunch of miscommunication and not the proper people on the emergency contact list. And the person who she had on there didn't know any of her family, only lived upstairs, and it was only lived upstairs from her. So it was really hard for her, hard for me as well. So when this is explain to them, emergency contact person is a person who's able to pick up your child, is a person you trust with your children, and can be that person for an extended period of time. Because if that person only can pick up your child and for a couple of hours, then that's not your emergency contact. If that person does not know any of your family member and you get hurt or something happens where you can be hospitalized in a coma, I need someone on here that is able to take care of your child, know some history from you, from your family members, can get in contact with your mother, your father, your grandmother, the kid's mother's father, grandmother. You know, you have to, that person needs know some history, your child's history. So, and physician, dentist, that's important, because if the person also an emergency contact doesn't know that information, your doctor usually have some emergency contact information as well. And the name of authorized person who's able to pick up the child. So these are not emergency contacts. That can be that neighbor up the stairs from you. That can be your friend down the street. That can be, you know, people who can't take care of your child for an extended period of time if something happens to you. Okay. The next one will be the shot records, immunization. You know, you have to fill that out because parents tend to lack on getting shot records or not know when it's time. Hey, your child needs to go to the doctor now because we need these shots here. Here, he's missing this. So it's best to do that. And then sometimes you get parents who kids are behind in their shots, and so you have to have a plan in place where they need to get them updated. So that can be a letter stating when the next appointment is, and when that next appointment is, you need to contact that parent, make sure that parent keeps that next appointment, and so on and so on and so on. Because sometimes if they're so behind, the doctor can't give the child all those shots that are needed at that one time. Okay, so the next form is the consent for emergency medical treatment. So where's that one? That is this one here. And that is called the LIC 627 form, and that is just, you know, if you need to provide emergency care really quickly, you have that parent consent for that. So get that done. Notification of parent rights. That form is the LIC 995A. That's this form right here. You can keep the bottom part and give the parent the top part, and that just tells them they can come into your house unannounced anytime they like. When their child's in care, they can file a complaint if they see something that's not right. They have a right to review your home, and they will be notified from you in writing of a name of a person not allowed in your home, in the daycare home, present with the children. Okay, and then, you know, it's a whole list of things here. You could Google that form and it'll pop up, LIC 995A. And then you have the next one will be the affidavit regarding liability insurance. Okay, so this one, I have insurance, but it's not required for us to have insurance. But because I stay in an apartment building, my landlord, just to make things, was so worried about me starting a home daycare, because he didn't want the liability to fall on him if something happens on his property with a child or with a parent bringing their children. So I got insurance to cover him and myself in that case. But it's not required to have it, but you need to let the parent know, hey, I don't have insurance, so if something happens, it's gonna fall on you. Okay, so you know, so that's good to have. And then there is the personal rights form, and that's the LIC 613A. It's not required, but they do request that you have a parent fill it out, and that's this form here. And that's just saying, hey, I'm going to treat your child with dignity. I'm going to respect your child. I'm going to, you know, I'm not going to restrain. I'm not going to lock your child in a room. You know, I'm not going to hit your child, you know, and things like that. I'm going to respect your child. Things of that nature. And then there's the next level. These are not required, but you can have them in there just to give you a little information about the child. Now, if you have, like, I'm a small daycare, so I can have 6 small children, I can have up to 8 kids, max 8. But there's an age limit on the kids I can have in my home. So right now, right now I have 6, but if I needed to school age, can be a 7th and an 8th child. So I will need to have every parent fill this out. I'll be like, hey, you know, I have 7 kids. I need you to fill this out for me to have that 7th child. To let you know, hey, I had 6, now I have 7, and this is the child's name. Let me get your signature on that. Okay, and then there is the incident medical service plan. I don't have a copy of that one because I don't have an incident report to file if a child gets hurt in your home, or there's, like I say, an apartment building, so occasionally maybe tenants argue back and forth with each other. If the children don't hear it, I don't have to create that. But if we were outside playing and someone get into it, arguing, then I will have to fill one of them out, because that means the kids were subjected to that atmosphere. So, but I don't have that problem. So, okay. And if licensing came and found the problem, I will have to post that in my home, or and so the parents or notify the parents of that problem that they found. Okay. Then there's optional paperwork that you can have in your little package here that you give to the parents, and that's the LIC 702, and that's this one. And this one I use a lot when they first come into my home, because it tells me about the child before they get here. It tells me their routine. It tells me if they have a medical condition. It tells me if they're potty trained, what age they were potty trained. It tells me what type of foods they eat on a regular basis, what type of food they like, what type of foods they dislike. It tells me how they get along with other children. Now, versus what the parents put and what really the reality is, some of the things that they put on here is untrue. And you will figure that out pretty soon. So I think if they were in a daycare before, maybe have that daycare provider fill it out for the parent, because that will tell you a little bit more about the child than, you know, what's really up with them. Okay, so let's go into my my contract. Let's go into my contract. So my contract is 3 pages. Whoa, that's long. Yeah, that's long. It's okay, because I got this. You know, you find the contract online and you make it your own. You might have to try a few different contracts to really find the one that you really like, or the one that deals with the type of parents that you deal with. So the contract I have, I got this online, and it addresses a lot of things. So it's an agreement between me and the parent, whoever that parent may be. It has my address, my phone number. It has a spot for their address and phone number, and the child and how many children they have, names. It also has what tells them, hey, you're paying for a slot, not per hour, because some parents believe, I picked my child up 2 hours early, do I get that money back? Or we didn't come this day, do I get my money back? Do you prorate? So all of that needs to be in there. I'm telling you. or they don't come for X amount of days and they feel that you should prorate them. You need to explain to them that you're paying for a slot. I'm only allowed 8 children, and 2 of those children have to be school age. And there's a lot of people out there that needs child care. So you're paying for a spot to be one of those 6 to 8 children in my child care. So that's what you're paying for. You're not paying me by hour. Now, there could be options I can create for you to be a drop-in and not a permanent person on my slot, but you have to be careful with that. But because you're not guaranteed a slot for that day, so if you work that day and you bring your child, and I already have someone in that spot, then you cannot come. Your child cannot come, and if you work that day, I cannot accommodate your child that day because I'm only allowed X amount of spots. Okay, so let's go. So then I have the days and hours of care. So when I originally started being a home provider, I wanted to be a 24-hour provider because I was thinking, like a parent. I had so many different jobs, and it's so hard to find child care that will work with your schedule. There's schedules where my hours fluctuated, and I needed that same one person to fluctuate with me. And I wanted to be that person for other parents, but not thinking about my values, my child's, and my whole household, and my time with her versus so it was really, because I am a single parent, so I do the single that was unfair to her, and it was unfair to me as well, because being a 24-hour, then parents feel that you can watch their kids anytime. They change their schedules. Oh, I'm not going to come this day, so we're just going to make it up this day. Oh, I'm not going to come Monday. Oh, I'm tired. I couldn't get up. Oh, I'm going to bring them at 3 and they could just stay to 11. No. That was happening to me. And because I'm not a confrontational person, it was like, okay. And now it's like, okay, I need to speak up and speak clearly and consistent. So I have a contract where they're the date and the hours, and hey, if you go over those hours, this is the fee. So my hours of operation are I have on here from 7:30 to 5:30 p.m. Monday through Friday. But my hours it can be from 5 a.m. because I had parents, from 5 a.m. until 7 p.m. the latest. But that doesn't mean you can bring your child at 5 in the morning and they automatically stay until 7. No, I only do 10 hours max. And there's a couple of parents I have to speak to currently about that. So 10 hours max between those hours, and that's when you need to get specific on the days/hours of care, because I need to pull up my contract, pull up with them, and have a conversation with them about that. Okay, registration fee. Now, there's a lot of providers that charge a registration fee. Now, there's a difference because you have parents that are on a subsidy program. And subsidy programs, they're good. They're good. They're good to have because they're guaranteed money, and but you have to wait to get paid, and usually you get paid up front. And parents who usually have subsidy programs just started working, so they don't have that income where they can pay a registration fee. Now, if you have your clientele can afford childcare on their own, then that's a different situation. So a registration fee. I don't charge a registration fee, but I do require now. If you are a parent paying cash, because I've had problems. It's only been a year and I've had problems. It's because so a 2 weeks. I need a 2-week deposit, and you can use that 2-week deposit for your last 2 weeks of child care. So I can make a separate video about all the problems I've had with child care at a later time. Now, payment schedule. Now, this is important. Some parents get paid weekly, some parents get paid bi-weekly, and sometimes you get paid monthly. So, this needs to be very, very, you need to conversate with that parent, tell them that this, give them that option, or you say, hey, this is when the funds are due. If your funds are not due, then that's it. Because I had a parent, I'll give you an example, was paying weekly, then switched it over to pay 2 weeks, then switched it over to paying a month, and then said, oh, I can't pay this month, I'm gonna give you all of the money next month. And then it was just so I can no longer do that. Now, overtime fees, I got that on here because some parents I'm early as 5 a.m. and I close at 7, but they feel like, but you only need child care between 8 and 5 or 8 and 6, but you're dropping your child off at 6 in the morning, and you want me to keep your child, and you didn't give me any notice. So there's fees for early drop off, and there's fees for late drop off. I have parents, hey, can you watch the kids a couple of extra hours? I want to do this. And sometimes, I'll accommodate them, but I'm figuring out then they keep doing it, and they keep doing it, and they keep doing it. And then when I say, no, I'm not going to do that, and it was like, oh, okay, well, then I'm on my way, and then you come 3 hours later, 4 hours later, and no, so it's best to have that communication up front with the parents, what you will allow, what you won't allow, and because it will become too much for you. It will become too much, and so and then I have my holidays and my closure days on there, because I haven't taken a vacation like a whole week closed, but I've taken the holidays off and things like that. So and then I have on here, permission to transport your child, because occasionally, or I don't want the parents to have to constantly keep signing a field trip form every time I want to do something. So I have them sign just a general, hey, I'm allowed to take your children outside of my home, as long as they're with me anytime I feel that we want to go out. And then I have, hey, I'm allowed to take your child to maybe water play, or swimming pool, things like that. Hey, I'm allowed to take pictures of your child and post them online and things like that. And then I have on here the curriculum I use and the hours of the day I use. And then I have the parents sign and date, and I sign and date. Okay, so that's the contract. Now the handbook is a different story. Now I got this handbook offline. It was someone else's handbook, another 24-hour daycare handbook, And she had so much stuff in there, and I was like, I don't know why she got this stuff in there. And I took some things out, and I did it, and then I realized, oh, that's why she got that in there. Oh, this is how. Oh, that's why. Let me go back and revise it. So I did revise it. So the first thing I have is arrival and departure. Because some people like to spend the older child, their older kid, and see, outside of my building, this is kind of limited on parking. So they might want to send their school age child in to pick up the little one, and you can't do that. So I have to I have to let them go by an adult, So that one, and changes in their address. If you have changes in your address, please give me a note. Let me know. Phone number changes. I have parents that change their phone numbers like weekly. Like, man. So when we get to that point where we starting to learn the phone number, it makes no sense to teach your child your phone number, because your phone number fluctuates and changes all the time. Do you have a family member or a loved one that phone number doesn't change, that is consistent, because I'm at the point where I'm teaching your child my phone number. If something happens, they know my phone number, because my phone number never changes. Anyway, child abuse / neglect. Let them parents know, hey, I'm a mandated reporter. This is what I will report. I don't care your situation. You think we friends. No, this is my job. This is what I have to do. I'm an advocate for your child. So if I see something, I'm going to report it. Okay. Children absences. This is when you say, hey, your child's sick, or your child don't come. You still got to pay me. You're paying for a spot, not by the day or by the hour. Clothing. This is when, hey, don't send your child in their church clothes and their Sunday's best. You're gonna send them in because we're gonna paint. We're gonna play in the dirt. We're gonna play with Play-Doh. We're gonna have flour. They're gonna eat, and they're gonna eat messy. And you're gonna so if you're gonna send them in their good stuff, be prepared for that. And also if children, they lose things. They sit things down. They play. I have kids all the time. We walk in and their shoe come off. They don't say anything, and when they playing, and we have to go back and search for their shoes. Sometimes they lose things. They lose cups. They lose things. So if it's lose, if it's lost, I'm not responsible for it. And you let them know that up front. Communication is very important. I told you I have a little small problem with communication, because I notice when something's done, like the continuing being late, it's inside of me, and it's irritating me, and I didn't say anything until that last moment, and it was like So I noticed that problem. Or tell them, hey, if you see something that you don't like that I did, or you noticing something different, please say something. So communication is a two-way street with parents. Okay. And I got my hours of operation in there, and you break it down. Children's late, blah blah blah, early, because you have some parent, hey, my child, my hours are this, for example, 8 to 5, I don't have to work today, or I can come in late today, so I'm not going to bring my child until 12, and he can stay until 5. And that interrupts what you got planned for the day, because now they're bringing the child late. Or you have people that bring their child 9:30, breakfast is over at 9, and tells you, hey, my child didn't eat here. You be like, on your contract. And then you got, my mealtime. What are you doing? you messing up my routine. So that is something to put in there too. As far as emergency drills, I let them know, you every 6 months, I believe you do. Yeah, not believe, I know you're supposed to have a fire drill, earthquake drill every 6 months. But to get the kids on that routine, you need to have it monthly or every 2 weeks, or however you choose to make your program. You can do it that way. So I was cooking yesterday, and the smoke alarm went off, and I noticed that the kids, they was just like, "What's that?" And I was like, "What? We do these drills. Why y'all not running outside?" So I need to work on them a little more with that. And enrollment requirements, shot records. You cannot, shot records. Wait 5 months before you get that, because and then you say, "Oh, I can't take off work to take them to no, you need that. So you need to stress that up front, There's no exceptions about the paperwork you need. There's no exceptions. Get that in or you ain't going to work. Okay, so extended absences. Put that in there. Field trips, let them know about field trips. Let them know. Sometimes they're going to have to pay money. Sometimes they're going to have to bring lunch. Meals and nutrition. Some of the kids you're going to have special needs, meal wise. So you might need parents to bring food. They might need to know what time you eat. They need to, because you might say, "Hey, I'm serving this, and I know your child doesn't like this." You might need to supply food for that day, because you can't alter everything for everyone. You know what I'm saying? So you'll need that, and they need to know what time their kids eats. We got a routine, and our routine is a pretty good one. These kids know their routine, my routine, better than I do. So I don't have any problems. When it's time for nap time, I don't have no kids running around. They already know. We eat, nap time, we eat, clean up, nap time, story time, and then sleep time. Some of them be asleep during the story time. Depends on how tired they get. So, discipline, guidance and discipline, I'm not going to hit your child. I'm not going to yell. I do timeout. And my timeout is, you explain to them your discipline policy. What is it that you do? I do timeout. And I do it by their age. And I tell you, I do it often. Because we're outside at the park often. And, kids like to throw tantrums. So I do it often. So when something happens, I don't have a tantrum. You come. You don't throw yourself down and have a tantrum. You come and then we talk about it, because young one that likes to get on the swing, we swing, and then you have to let someone else have a turn, and every time she gets off the swing, she throw a tantrum. So I let her throw that tantrum, and I put somebody else on there, and once she finished, then she goes and sit down for her timeout, and after her timeout, then we talk about what happened. We talk about her feelings. We talk about how we could have handled that situation, and then she go play. And we do that 100,000 times. And I also have here the health requirements, with the shot records. That's very important, and that's something that is, if you let them in there without it, and then you have 7 days to get it, and then that's like, man, I'm bugging you for that because I need that. and they don't understand that. So you gotta get, and illnesses. Okay. Now this is very, very, very important, because no matter how many times you wash their hands, how many times you try to spray something down that they touch with the boogers, with the coughing, with the sneezing, it's going to spread. It's going to spread. It's going to spread. And, with the diarrhea, parents feel that, they can still bring their child with it. Listen. So your sick policy, you need to stress that to the parents. One parent, brought the child. The child was like okay for 5 minutes. Started then throwing up, and called the parent. Hey, you need to come get the child. She was throwing up. She's not feeling well. I have to. My home is very small, so when I'm blocking things off, for the other kids won't approach, it's become complicated, because you got to separate the child, and you worried about that child, because, you keep looking, and, the child not eating, you can't sit there and hold them all day, because you got other kids, and you guys are on a routine, and then you can't do your regular routine with a sick child. And then you putting in harm's way the other children. So the parent needs to come get that child. And then the parent said, okay. And then the parent's not coming again. You call the emergency contact, and the emergency contact not answering. You call another emergency contact. You get what I'm saying? So you need to really stress your sick policy. And then you tell that parent, hey, your child's sick. Your child can't come back the next day. What? I gotta work. And then the parent said, okay. And then the parent comes and they're better now. No, they can't come back today. And that's what a parent don't understand. I had to leave work early to come pick up my child early, and then you telling me they can't come the next day. And I feel that my child's better. You can't bring them. So anyway, so that's that. Maybe you have, they're coughing too bad. Kids, they cough. You tell them, cover your mouth. They cover their mouth for a second. They cough again. Boogers running. You trying to get to the boogers, then they do like that and they touch a toy. They have little snot wipes all over. And then that the clear boogers that's what you try to maintain first, and then the washing of the hands, constant come and wash the hands, spraying down the toys. You do that, but once one get it, I'm telling you, it goes down. And then also, if you take drop-ins, you also have to make sure that child's not sick, because you bring in a drop-in and it's really not worth bringing in if they're going to get your whole class sick, because their nose running, they coughing. What's their regular routine? So when parent call you, hey, I need someone to watch my kid, blah, 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 my daycare closed, or something, or I have to work, it's an emergency, and is your child sick? How is your child? They're going to tell you the child's fine, but you need to check that child out before that parent leaves, because I'm telling you, did a drop in, child came, nose running, all my children, it's because, and it turns out it wasn't worth that. It wasn't worth it. So, anyway, that. And then I have on here injuries. Accidents happen. Kids run, they fall, scrape the knee. Bam, that's an injury. You scrape the knee. Put a band-aid on it, clean it up. Sometimes it's small. One child, hurt themselves, fall, it might hurt their arm, not break it, not a bad one. So you need to tell the parents about the injuries and how you're not responsible for a minor injury, or if you're not responsible for any injury they have under your care. You know, and sometimes if it's injury that you may need to call 911, in your mind you think, oh, my kid's hurt. The provider called 911. Well, the provider and all the kids can't get into the ambulance. So when the provider calls you and tells you it's an emergency and they send your kid to the child care, to the hospital, they send your child alone. And we have feelings, so we're worried about your child. So when they're going to get all that information, the ambulance number, what hospital they sent your child to. So when they call you and tell you something like that, you need to get up and go to the hospital, because there must be something wrong. Now, that's also if your child is sick to the point where that fever is higher than, it's too high. They're going to call the ambulance, and then you taking too long to come from your work to come pick up your child, and that provider feels like they can't handle that sick child and their children, then they call the ambulance and they send their child to the hospital, and then you get there, you will rush to get there. There's certain things that, you just talk to the parents about. Late fees. I got late fees on here. Every 15 minutes, $5. But, and even if it's 16 minutes after, that's another $5. So I need to enforce my late fees because I haven't been charging them, and that's why the parents have been over abusing me, So that's one thing I'll have to have a meeting about. Medication. Okay. A medication is any medication. The over-the-counter Tylenol medication. Some people, oh, he's sick, teething or whatever. Just give him a little Tylenol. Just give him Tylenol. Do you have Tylenol? Do you have ibuprofen there? Oh, they have some in their little bag. Just give him that. No, you got to fill out a form for that, honey. And I need to see the CCC, and then if it's medical medication from a doctor, I need that printout from what the doctor said and what you say, because sometimes the parent think they know better than the doctor, or sometimes they didn't understand the instructions that the doctor gave. It's I'm telling you. Okay, open door policy. I have that on there. I keep my door open. You can come in. People knock. Come on in. You can come in my house when your child's here anytime you like. You want to come on your lunch period to breastfeed? Come on. You want to come for art time? Come on. You want to come on a field trip? Come on. Open door policy. Come on. Come in. Sit down. Help out. Interact with your child for a little bit. You missed your child. You on your lunch break. You want to stop by? Come on. See what we do. Sit in circle time. Come on. That's what I'm saying, parents. If you have to be at work a little late, don't sit there and keep your child at home and drop them off later. Come on in. See what your child does. Interact with your child. Talk to your child. Come on. Come in. So then I have outdoor playtime. We try to do. If it's raining real hard, we don't go outdoors. If it's really cold, we still leave because there's an indoor play area that I like to go to, and the kids love it. So if it's raining, we probably will go there as well. But if it's raining really hard, we sing our little rain go away song, and hopefully it goes away. Or we do just indoor playtime. But we go outside every day. If it was raining and it was too wet to play on the playground, that's a good idea for us to go walk, talk. We pointing out signs, we pointing out colors, we pointing out cars, we pointing out houses, flowers. It's raining. We pointed out the birds, the squirrels, the puddles on the ground. Some kids even have on rain boots. Jump in if you have your rain boots on. We're learning. We're learning. I mean, they sit there quietly looking around and they taking it all in. I just love it. I just love it. I just love it. I just love it. And it's sometimes you just talk. I talk to my mouth dry. What else I have? Parent bulletin board. That's my little bulletin board over there. I will point to it all. Can you see it? No, that's not. All the way over there. And it just has on little community things that's going on. Brushing the teeth thing. If a birthday party for a child is coming up. Things like that. Then I have termination. 2-week notice. I give a 2-week notice if I feel that it should be terminated, unless you have violated to the point where you can't come back, or and it's required that you give me a 2-week notice when terminating, and if you don't, you still have to pay for that 2 weeks, so that needs to be up front. Toilet training. Now, that's very important, especially for me, that's important. Toilet training. If a child is showing signs that it's toilet training, and you tell the parent, or the parent asks you, hey, do you potty train? I will say yes, but then I'll potty train them, and then they go home and they do nothing, then they come back and I have to do it over again, then they go home and do nothing, and I have to come back and do it over again, they go home and they do nothing, and I have to come back and do it over again. No, I don't potty train. I assist you in potty training. That's why I realized that provider had that in there at first, and I didn't really. So I had to go back and I had to put that in. No, I assist you in potty training. You tell me when your child is. I'll tell you the signs. He pulling off his diaper. She ready to use the bathroom. She's sitting up. She pulling off her clothes. She's ready. She's ready. They're ready. They're telling me when they pee. They're ready. And when you start initiating that at home, then I'll follow you. You tell me your routine. You tell me what you call boo boo. You tell me what you call the pee pee. You tell me what you call the pot, so I can help you. Because right now I'm potty training and you're not potty training, and it's been months, and it's still not happening. It's been months, so that discourages me. And you ask me, so how is he doing in potty training? I don't know. How is he doing in potty training at your house? Oh, we don't do it. Oh, I know. So, and then toys from home. Kids love toys that they first seen. They love them. You come in here with a toy, and they all want to play with it. And then then kids guarded by that toy. So I say no toys for home, but the parents still send the kids with the toys for home, so it's automatically, you don't want anyone playing with your toy, go put it in your cubby. Bam, that solves that problem. Transportation. So at first I didn't have a car. We went out still on the bus. That's fine. Or we took Ubers or Lyfts. So I will have to carry around car seats, booster seats. So that's what I have. I have booster seats. A parent can also give me their car seat out of their car as well. So, but they're always in the booster seat, car seat. So I have that. And then I have there's a 30-day trial period. This parent could be great in person, great for that first week, great for that second week, and then you see it, this ain't working. Oh no, they can't. I don't like that. Oh man, the kids still not getting along with the kids. Oh man, this kid's scratching, biting, hitting. Oh, and it's not getting better. Oh, this is just certain things. There's a trial period. That parent don't like you. That parent has a right to say, hey, I'm leaving. Bam, they're gone without no notice. You can tell that parent, it's not working out. I'm sorry. It's been 3 weeks. I'm sorry. Oh, it's been 29 days. It's not working. Or whatever you want to tell that parent, or however you want to tell that parent, is me, not you. You guys can break up without any without return those 2 weeks, those last 2 weeks if they pay. It's just that. Okay. But after that 31 days, they tell you, oh, it's not working. It's been 31 days, honey. You're supposed to give me a 2-week notice. You get what I'm saying? It's that. So, tuition, fees, deposit, refund, all of that's on there. What else do I have? Vacation and holidays. Okay, now that's important. Now I do a monthly schedule, and I take a picture of it in the beginning of the month, and I send it to the parents so they will know what days I'm closed. Because some jobs require some parents to work on those holidays, and they need to either find someone else who's willing to keep their child, or try to request that time off. And some parents need 30 days. Some parents need 3 weeks. Some parents need 2 weeks to request those days off. So respect that. So the verification of legal custody, mom and dad not getting along. Mom's the custodial parent, dad's not. Dad comes to pick up the child, mom's yelling at you why you let the child go with dad. You listen, you're gonna have those problems. You might have those problems. You might have a domestic violence case. You need to let the parent know. If he has the paperwork, he picks up the child. I can't go by what you say. Okay, you need to have that, communication with the parent on that. Visitors. Now, so I encourage parents to visit. But if the parent come and they bringing a cousin with them, that's different. I encourage parents to come. Parents, not your friend that you ain't seen in a long time, that ain't seen your child, you want to stop by. Not your coworker who wants to visit on the lunch break with you. There's limitations to this. So you get what I'm saying? So everyone's not allowed in your home anytime. That open door policy it's not for your coworker. It's not for your cousin. It's not from your friend you seen a long time ago who just want to stop by and see the child real quick. That's when the door shuts. So, okay. And it's vice versa. My cousin is not coming here when I have childcare, when I'm working, or during the hours I'm working. My boyfriend. Oh no! There's limitations to this. There's limitations to this. This is a business here. This is a job. These are your kids. These are my kids. I'm responsible for those kids. I'm protecting those kids. I will not allow you to do what I won't do. And you won't allow me to do what you won't do. Let's get that straight. Okay, withdrawals. You may terminate my services by giving a 2-week notice. Point blank period. You can give a 2-week notice. You can take your kid off the next day, but you still have to pay for that, because I have to have time to fill that spot. Sometimes 2 weeks is not enough to fill that spot, you know, but still, that's what I require. And that's it. Then we both sign, and that's it. That's what goes into there. If you have any questions on my handbook, just let me know, and I will be able to get that to you. Sorry this video was so long, and I will talk to you guys another time.